Okay, so we are here for kids art and we are doing a project called Winter Reflection. So this is what it looks like. And we'll just go over the list of things that you need first. So you will need just some plain printer paper, some white printer paper. You'll need some black construction paper. You'll need 2 sheets of this. And then we added in some hills in the background, and so we used a dark blue and a light blue sheet of construction paper for that. So you don't have to do that part if you don't want to. You can just do the reflection, so you have the black background and the white foreground. You will also need some tape. We're using painter's tape, but you could also use like a Scotch tape or a masking tape, or trying to think, that any easy tape would be good. And you'll need a pencil and glue stick. We have 1 glue stick, I think, and some scissors. And then if you want, you can also, we did a little bit of coloring and colored in the snowman, his hat and his face at the end. So if you want some markers to add that in at the end, that would be good too. So we are going to begin by drawing our shapes onto the white paper. So the idea is when you draw the sheet on the sheet of paper, you want to draw so that it's right here along the one edge, so that when you match it up to here, you have the reflection right below. So we are going to start by, you can, we did snowman and trees, so you can add anything in you want. If you wanted to draw a house and cut out that shape, that would be something you could do too. What are some other ideas you guys have that we could draw that would be sort of like in a winter landscape?
Snowflake.
You could do a snowflake. That might be a little more challenging. So just as a recommendation, so I'm going to hold this up, and I was kind of telling these guys, so like for example, this tree over here has lots and lots of zigzags in and out. This one has only a couple. If you have younger kids and just in general, this is way easier and less frustrating than zigzagging in and out. So when you're cutting on your white sheet of paper here, you can't cut off to the side because then that kind of ruins your reflection. So you got to make this all one cut in and out. And so the same thing, if you decide you want to do the snowman, if you are challenged with using scissors, I would say just leave the arms out and just do the snowman shape. And then we also added in a moon up here too. So that is just one suggestion. We also printed off a couple of simple shapes. So if you wanted to just use it as a stencil, you could use the snowman as a stencil, or a tree. These trees, they'd be, I would just make the shape probably a little more simple with this too. But anyway, we'll go ahead and get started. So do you guys want to use the snowman stencil, or you want to go ahead and just draw your own?
Snowman stencil.
Okay, so we're going to use the stencil for Ella. What do you think? Okay, they're both going to use it, so it'll take just a second here.
I want to do the tree first.
Okay, perfect. Use this one. This one would be easier.
Can I go get a pencil?
Yes, you may go get a pencil. All right, so we're going to use this stencil, and I'm just going to show you how to do it here first. I don't know if we can see this through. Can you kind of see the snowman there? Okay, so we want to place this snowman right here so that he's way down on the bottom. Can you kind of see that on there? So it's at the very bottom of this sheet. And then she's going to trace that and then cut it out. Do you want to do like 1 snowman and 1 tree?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, so we're going to place it right there, and then you're going to trace around it. Same thing, Dave. Let's use
But not the arms?
I would go ahead and leave out the arms. That would be my suggestion. You could add them in if you really, really want to. But just know that sometimes when we get frustrated, art becomes no fun. Okay, so we did the same thing. David's going to use this tree as a stencil, and so we got that placed right along the bottom there. And I'm going to go ahead and just draw one and show you how that will look too. Not on yours, you can do your own. Does that work for you right there?
Yeah.
Okay, let's do that.
Wait.
So you're gonna use your pencil and you're gonna trace that tree shape. So you wanna just kind of hold that piece of paper right in line there. And then I'm gonna go grab a pencil too. Oh, wait, there's one right here. Nope. Right. We have our cousin baby Noah here. He's hiccuping in the background. All right, so then if you're gonna go ahead and draw this, I'll just draw like a tree shape, simple tree shape.
I can barely see this.
And it doesn't have to be perfect. You know what I'm gonna suggest, Dave, instead of all these little ins and outs here? So I'm just gonna show you here. So Dave made all of these little in and out shapes here. I would just make that a straight line. Be a lot easier to cut. Is that okay with you if we do that?
Zigzag.
You want to leave it like this? Okay, he's going for the zigzag. That's cool. So half of the tree, and then I'll go ahead and do the other half. Excellent. Ella, you going to do a tree also?
Mm-hmm.
Do you want to draw one?
Yeah, I can do one by myself because I'm really good at that.
Excellent. Go ahead and draw it. Okay, so we got our tree, and then you could also use shapes, like if you wanted to draw a snowman and you have some kind of circle shape around you, a bowl, or if you want a tiny snowman, you could use like these smaller circles. I'm going to use this inside of this tape roll as one of the circles for my snowman. And then I'm
Got
just
out
gonna...
place.
That's okay. You're right there. See it? Yep.
You could also make some presents.
You could, right under the tree. I might do this one. All right. Ella's got that. All right, so then we're gonna take our scissors and we're gonna cut out our shapes. So what you want is you want your shapes to be right along the bottom edge here. Dave's got a tree, and then did you want to do the snowman too, Dave?
Yep.
Okay, just gonna switch that out and then put your snowman right along the bottom right there, and then are you gonna leave the arms off? It's up to you.
And then the row.
Okay, these are things that you'll have to, okay, so those are things you'll have to color on to this background, okay? So I just want to show you. So Ella drew some presents and stuff on here. So she can cut these shapes out. You'll have to just cut the square out from along the bottom here.
I didn't really want to do the loops because I knew that we were going to cut
Okay,
it out.
and then she can color these, and when she cuts the squares out, she can place those on there and then color them on the background. Did you want to do a moon up in the sky as well?
Sure.
Do you want to stencil for a circle?
Do that.
There you go, little one, that'll be good.
Actually, I want to make it a biggish.
Bigger one? Okay, I'm gonna grab a bigger circle stencil from the kitchen. All right, so we have this bowl here, and you can just use the bottom of that and then draw around it. I'll hold it in place. Okay, so with this moon, I found it a little bit challenging to get in there and cut that out without cutting the rest of this. So what I did was I bent it and I went in and I did a little cut like this. I don't know if I like these kids' scissors though. Maybe we need to get the bigger scissors, they might cut a little bit better. So then I went ahead and cut out this shape. So I cut inside of it, and then I went out to the side, and then I went ahead and cut around it. And then I went back and I used another sheet of paper and I cut out a nice perfect circle so that that could be my reflection on the black background, and then I would still have this nice white circle in the reflection part of the piece, so in the bottom portion. So see, like that. So then you have this nice round circle here. So this is the part that is the foreground that will end up looking like this. And then we'll go and place this on another sheet of paper and cut out a nice white circle. So Ella, if you want to go ahead and keep cutting out. So what we're going to do is you want to cut around the edges, or the outside edges. So I know that she drew the little circles and all that on her snowman here. We're not going to cut inside of that. We're going to just cut all around the outside edges. And I'm going to let Ella do this. But you don't want to, you want to make it one scissor cut so that you're not cutting in and out on the paper. So it's going to come around and then you're going to have to come back out like this. Okay, go ahead, Ella. Dave, you're ready. So here's Dave's and he's going to cut his out as well. Go ahead. And then do you want to do a moon as well, Dave?
Yep.
Okay, I'm going to go ahead and cut them out 2 moons on my sheet of paper here.
Can I do like a half a moon?
Sure. Like a crescent moon?
Like a banana moon.
Yes, banana moon.
A genius.
All right, I will need to grab a scissors.
Wait, no, I need it.
All right, hold on, buddy. Hold on.
Yeah, that has more curves.
You work on this part of it. Let's go. We'll go back in and tape this. So you don't want these cuts like this on your sheet of paper. So Dave was cutting into the paper. So we'll go back and just tape this. But what you want to do is we want to start down here at the bottom. Okay, so we're going to cut around. And you got to just keep cutting on that same cut mark, okay? So don't come back out here, don't cut out this way. Just keep cutting around a circle and then you'll have to go out, 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 okay?
Yep.
If you decide you want to cut the arms off, that's okay, we can just erase them too. So I'm gonna go ahead and cut out Ella's moon. Trying to think
all the way up, all the way back down.
So go, no, yep, go, no. Go around the outside edge. Okay, he knows. Looks really good, Ella. Okay, there's your moon, and then David needs a crescent moon. Oops. I'm a little cuckoo with that one. Does this look good, Dave? That'll work for you? Like that?
Yep.
Okay, keep cutting, Dave. So the cutting part of it does take kind of a while. All right, so there is your moon, and we'll cut that out of the top as well.
I'm not very good with this. I can't get the nose out.
Okay, so see like where you get to these these pointy and thin lines, it gets to be kind of challenging. So she was just saying how it's kind of challenging around the nose here. So I'm just gonna go ahead and kind of quickly kind of cut most of this out so we can move on to the next step. So the shapes that you cut out are the ones that you are gonna tape onto the top portion, and then this bottom portion is what will be the reflection. So I'm just gonna cut it like this, Elle.
Is this my snowflake?
That is your snowman, yes. How are those arms working, Dave? Oh my gosh, you're doing so good.
Yeah.
It's better than I did. I got a little frustrated.
This is so pretty.
So after you cut out your tree, and maybe you have some pencil marks left over on this part of the if you have pencil marks left on this foreground portion here, then you can just go ahead and erase those too. Okay. So Ella does have her presents on here, but just for time's sake, I'm going to go ahead and skip that part and she can add that later. Okay, so we have her reflection shape right here. So what you're going to do is you're going to take your black background and you are going to glue your snow reflection part on top of this. So I know my black background is a little bit bigger, so we'll just cut those edges off. So Ella, do you want to glue this?
Yeah.
Dave, you're doing so good. I'm just going to scoot this over a little bit here. Okay, so what I want you to do, as I was saying, you're going to have this down here, and you're going to go ahead and glue this on here. So we're just going to use our glue stick, and I would go ahead and put it on the black background and just put some glue on here.
Okay, I'm good at that.
Okay, and don't use too much because we've got to share this between you and Dave, and I don't think there's a lot there. Okay, over here, along the edges. Okay, good. And then we're just gonna place this down on top of it, and we wanna make sure that we get this nice and lined up, and then we'll only have to cut 2 of the edges since our black is a little bit bigger. And you can add in some glue anywhere you need if it lifts up off of there. So our edges are a little bit long on the black, so we'll go ahead and cut that off in a little bit here, but we'll move on to the next step, and that will be to use your other black sheet of paper. So you should have 2 sheets of paper per person, for those of you that picked up the to-go supplies. And then we're gonna make our snowy hills in the background. So do you want the blue as the farthest away and then the darker blue, or do you want to flip it around so it's like this?
Like this.
Okay, so to make our snowy hills, very simple. You're just gonna draw kind of a wavy line, and then you're gonna do the same with the other one. So go ahead and draw a wavy line somewhere along here. So just for example, that is so perfect, Ella. This is how I did mine. I did the lighter blue in the background. Ella's doing the darker blue. So I want you to go ahead and cut along that wavy line. Big scissors or little?
I don't care.
Okay. Snowman's looking good, Dave. And then we'll do the same thing with the light blue. Ella, do you want to go ahead and draw your line, and I'll keep cutting on here? So you're going to maybe do it slightly different than this one, so you have kind of a contrast between the mountains that are farther away, and okay, I like that, and the ones that are closer. Go ahead and cut that one out, Elle. so we have our snowy hills, and this is going to be the one that is farther back. I didn't do a very good job cutting there. Okay, so she's doing this one that is farther back, and then we also want to make sure that we have a place to put our moon on here since we chose to do the moon. So we would glue, I'd probably glue the moon on first, so I'm going to go ahead and do that for you, Ella. Is that okay?
Yeah.
All right, so we're going to go ahead and stick that on there. So we have the moon on there, and then we want to place the hills so that it's not touching the moon. Still looks like it's up in the sky. I'm gonna go ahead and glue this down for you too, Ella. And I just like using a glue stick for this rather than the glue that comes out of the container, because then my paper doesn't get quite so soggy. All right, so we have the background hills on. Okay, great. Now move on to your tree. And then Ella did her lighter blue one, so we're going to place that in front. Do you want to, yeah, we want to like this, right? Yeah, I like that. Okay, so then we'll put our glue on top of here. And then lay down the lighter blue on top. So here's Ella's hills. Okay, so then we're gonna put these two together. Now I know we have a little bit of edging here, but we'll go ahead and take that off at the end. So what we wanna do is we wanna match these two up. So this is the bottom, this is the reflection, and this is what the actual image is. So we're gonna go ahead and place these like this. And then I taped them in the back so that they matched up. So like I said, you could use masking tape, scotch tape, painter's tape. All right, so now we have one image, and then we're gonna go ahead and lay this down. Oh, I should have trimmed off this blue first. And he's a little bit too long, isn't he? All right, I'm just gonna peel this off and trim that off so it looks a little nicer. One more step. All right. There we go, better. Okay, now we can tape them. Can you get me a slice of tape out?
Yeah.
Thank you. Looking good, David. Challenging, isn't it?
Well, I didn't pick the harder rope. What did he do?
I can't wait to see when it's finished. It's gonna look good. Okay. Sorry, it didn't get quite on there perfectly. We want it to line up. Okay. So now we have our snowy hills, and then we have our reflection down here. So then, Ella, what you're gonna wanna do is she's gonna place her snowman down. So for example, we cut it out like this, and then we're just gonna lift it up and flip it so that it's like this. And then she's gonna glue that down right there.
And then my tree. And
then her tree was right here. So then she's gonna flip it up so that it's right here. So go ahead and glue that on, and then you can add on any marker or decorations that you want. You could even just draw those presents right on here rather than cutting them out. No big deal. Make sure you get his head so his head sticks down.
Get his head. And just adding a little more spikes.
That's all right. I want to show everybody what you did before we sign off here too. All right, so Ella's getting her snowman down. Very nice.
Mama, what were
Let's
the
make
things
that a
that
little
you
more
used
straight. For what?
for your snowman?
I use this snowman too.
No, like what colors?
Oh, I just use the black for the coal, orange for the carrot nose.
I want to fight that.
Okay, and then I'll go ahead and glue down her tree here too. And show you what we ended up with. And I gotta show you Dave's here too before we sign off. And then we will trim off the edges, but here is Ella's. So she has her snowman and her tree and her moon. And then you have the same reflection down here, and then we would just trim off these edges. So she's gonna go get some colors and probably add in some colors for the snowman and then maybe add some presents. And next week we'll be doing some pop-up poinsettias, and we'll use tissue paper for that. So it's kind of a fun project. And as always, if you want to-go bags, you can just message me or comment on the Kids Art page and let me know how many kids. Supplies are free, and this is sponsored by the Ellendale Area Arts Council. And if you want to just join in live on Facebook or watch the video whenever, that is fine too. So I just wanted to show you, Dave did so many of these zigzag looks. He got the arms cut out here too. This tree. And we got our snowman here, so Dave will go ahead and finish up his too, which looks so good. Awesome. And Ella's gonna color hers in. And this is Noah making all the noise. Hey, buddy. Okay, guys, thanks for joining in. He's like, what? See you next week. Bye.
Bye.
You can hit finish right there. Oh, down there in the bottom.